right, U.S.-Mexico border. Let's talk about it. U.S.-Mexico border. We've got illegals coming in as they have for years, except now there's a huge influx. Our country is bringing them in, our government is bringing them in, literally by the busload. I don't know, a lot to say about this. Been reading up a lot on it. Made a phone call down to a Fox News station today down in Texas and spoke to the guy there as to why they posted a flag that's half Texas, the Texas flag, and half the Mexican flag. And because it really made people mad down there and up here. And he said it was to show solidarity. Actually, what he said didn't make any damn sense. I'm making the guy sound good. What he said was it was because there are people coming in over the border and they want everyone to be aware. That's what he said. I don't know. I have no idea. Fox is trying to piss everybody off. I know that much. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what everybody has to think about folks coming into the country. There is a lot of emotion, and it's actually been a reason for division amongst a lot of different groups and a lot of different people. So let's get to the brass tacks real quick, okay? There's one organization that's bringing people into your country illegally. That's the United States government. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democrat issue. This is not a white-black issue. This has nothing to do with race. It has to do with culture. It has to do with country. We have a national border set by people who lost their lives to put it there. We have rules set as national sovereignty for a reason. It is not sustainable to bring a bunch of people in under any circumstances. We can't do that, obviously. Look at the state of our country. There's no way that we can't even afford to take care of ourselves. We can't even afford to patch the roads and have decent health care for Americans, and then we're going to bus in a bunch of people by the thousands? You got to be kidding me. That doesn't make any kind of sense, and everybody knows it, and that's why everybody's pissed. That's one side. The other side says, you know, look, there has been, and this is something, I was in Mexico years ago. I was in South America years ago. I know a little tiny bit about this. What had happened in Mexico that I don't know why nobody's talking about this. When Pablo Escobar was the drug lord in Mexico, and I actually have a video I can send anybody who wants to hear. It's a former CIA official that used to run cocaine into the U.S. from Mexico via Pablo Escobar and all those guys. And it's, you know, CIA, Iran-Contra affair. He was around during those times. And he used to bring the cocaine in personally, and he finally just came out and said it. He said, no, I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth before I die. And when Pablo Escobar was responsible for 80-some% of the cocaine that came into the country, Mexico's government was in line with the cartels at the time. So you didn't see violence in the streets. They kept it in their own compounds, and they kept it amongst themselves. They kept guerrilla warfare away from the people, as long as the government played ball. The government tried to change and tried to do it without the cartels. They said, we're no longer going to protect you, we're no longer going to work with you, and next thing you know, all these scandals broke out in Mexico about how there was this politician, they had footage, they had pictures, they had audio of him, you know, being bribed and doing this scandal, and the cartels were the ones releasing that. When the government changed in Mexico, violence broke out very quickly, and it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Here's some other things people don't know in America that you need to be aware of. When the Mexican military split, they took the weapons with them. Right below our border in Mexico, children have been killed with grenades. When you suppress it in your own media and ignore it, it is going to come to bite you in the ass. Period. It's a humanitarian crisis. That's how it started out. We could have came in and helped, but the corrupt sons of bitches that work for our ruling class, they wouldn't allow it. and they went in there, they ran their own agenda. So it was like every 7 years, and then it was every 5 years, Mexico would say, hey, we're going to legalize marijuana, and the United States would cut them a huge check to not legalize marijuana. And that's just a small part of their politics there. There's a lot of international politics that we're not aware of. We don't have any clue about. The American people are unaware of what's gone on in Mexico that is bringing people to our border, children, women, elderly, if they can make it, which is barely if they do, and murderers. They're all together. We have no way of discerning who is who, and a lot of them are leaving because it's so bad. I don't know that you and I would do anything different. If it was bad and we lived in wherever and all we had to do was cross this border, and there's Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, everything else, yeah, I'm probably going to take my kids and I'm probably going to go cross the freaking border. We didn't help them when they needed it. You can say it's not our responsibility. Is it our responsibility now? That's what we got from a media that blacked us out with what's going on south of our very border. I mean, this country touches the United States. We're blessed. People don't realize Europe, they all speak, French and German and English because they all live right here, If you want to go somewhere, you better be able to speak a few different languages. And the sovereignty of their borders are constant problems. Same thing over in Jordan, Israel, Syria. There's people trying to protect borders over there, and it's a very serious deal. I mean, sometimes they'll kill you. Obviously, we understand what's going on in Israel and all of that. But either way, the penalties are severe. I have no clue how our country, the most technologically advanced, we're first world, just can't protect the border for some reason. Went to the moon, can't protect our freaking border. You got to be kidding me. That type of theology comes from the same ruling class that told us there are just some jobs Americans won't take, which is a lie. We built the country. We built the sewer lines. There isn't one job we won't take. Not one. That's a lie. Most of us in the U.S. don't feel any anti-Mexican, anti-Spanish anything. We don't know much about Mexico. Hence, when the media blacks us out of what's going on, we lose information on a culture that is right at our back door. And now that things have gone bad for them, guess what? It's going to be bad for us. Now, I hate to break it to all you racists out there, okay? Especially the ones in Texas that want to talk about, I'm a staunch Republican and this country is in the condition it's in because of liberals. Have you lost your mind? First of all, the Texas border fought off Mexico with Indians from who knows how many different tribes, Frenchmen, prisoners, pirates. I mean, these were people from every single walk of life and every ethnicity that wanted to be Texas. And it wasn't just a bunch of white guys. Sorry. That doesn't even make sense for the people that believe in that theology. You're just going to have to open a book. Beyond that, for the racists, you always try to, it's closet racism to say that you hate the president and you're a Republican and you're anti-immigration. That's what people are saying. It's closet racism. That, you're actually just racist and you're not going to come out and say it. That you're anti all of these things that make you racist. You're just not going to say you're racist. Well, check this out. Personally, doesn't matter what you are. If you're an American and you understand this ruling class is the problem of all of us, then you'll drop your racist ideology. You'll help us secure our border. You'll help us get the cronies out of Washington, D.C., and then you can preserve whatever hate theology you have. But everybody's going to have to drop what they're doing right now, get uncomfortable, and be proactive. It's just that simple. I've talked and I started going on a rant. Let me check for questions real quick before I continue, I want to talk about some of the information that we have. I'm letting everybody know that I am on and I'm live. I'll have to check YouTube. I don't see anybody on Google. Let me find my Google link. I apologize, I should have been a little better prepared. That's a flattering picture they have. I looked at it, it's like, oh, it's all crazy looking with my big nose. Okay, good. All right. So let me get to some of the latest information that we have. The Mexico and Guatemalan governments have agreed to work to make the passage into America easier, because we're not just getting Mexican immigrants, we're getting El Salvadorian, Guatemalan, from Belize, everywhere, South America, everywhere, Central America. It's all those countries. They heard there was a free-for-all on the border, and so they started to come in mass. Now also, they're dying. They're being killed in their homes. They can't go shop. They can't go to restaurants. And all of these countries down there are in a bad spot. They will keep coming up into this country if something's not done. And it's not going to be done by the same government that is bringing them in here. No way. It has to be the citizenry. It has to be the American people, or it will not be done, and you'll lose your country because you were sitting down thinking, man, if I went up and tried to protect that border, I'll lose my job and I won't be able to support my family. And that's fine, because if you allow the ruling class to do what they're doing, the only thing you'll have left to remind you of your old existence in this country is your job. They're going to allow you to work for them. And that'll be the only damn thing you have. And I hope everybody thinks about that. I hope everybody considers that uncomfortable truth. Yeah, you may lose your job. Yeah, it may happen. Absolutely. You may be made to be uncomfortable. But check this out. If it's 1,000 of you, if it's 100 of you, if it's a bunch of you, you don't have to worry about it, because everybody's going to be able to take care of each other. We can fight to protect our border. We can fight to get our government back, and then we can build each other back up. And it's just that simple. That's exactly what this country has done before. A lot of the early writings about this country spoke about how when people were in need, they never once even thought about seeking government help. They would go to churches, they would go to other organizations that would hand out food or whatever it was, building supplies sometimes. So we don't need government. We don't need it, especially the way that it is. We absolutely can protect our own border. We don't need their regulations. We don't need their stupid rules. And if they would just allow our guys that have the best training in the world to do their jobs, instead of hiring them as a border patrol agent and then firing them for doing their jobs, we'd be okay. To a few other bits of news that we have concerning the border. The flag that was flying on the bridge in Texas that has the it's a combination of the Texas flag and the Mexican flag, has a lot of people angry. And tell you what, I'll try to find that, and I will release their phone number on here so everybody can call and find out for themselves. And that's what we're all about. We want people to discern for themselves. Don't believe a damn thing because I said it. Don't believe anything because anybody else said it. And that's another thing that brought all of these groups together, especially in Ohio. We've got 3%ers, we've got Overpass, we've got Columbus Freedom Rally, we've got OAS, we've got Anonymous. I mean, we've got a lot of groups and a lot of other interested groups that are going to help us bring a little bit of order to when we protest. We're able to express to a lot of people that we have the unity of all of these different groups, that we have people with different ideals, and that's American. That's how the country was founded, was by a bunch of different people who had a bunch of different ideas. If you read our finest documents, they are based on that simple truth, the understanding that of how government functions and the anticipation of humanity. That's how it's done. Okay. Had to make sure that my lighting was okay. Let me try to find, I have my buddy Josh hitting me up saying, message me. I can't right now, Josh. I apologize. The 3% Patriots, I invited you guys. I invited Overpass. Let me see. I'm going to try to do this quickly and see if I can find this phone number. We know that the Mexicans are being, or the South Americans are being put into different types of camps. We've got people on our border that are preparing for civil war. There's rumors that Obama wants to declare martial law. Okay, here's the phone number for everybody to call down to the station down there. It's a Fox station, so you ought to love that. 214-720-4444. They say that's their main directory. It's not. It'll get you into the station. And because I spoke to them yesterday or earlier today, and they posted it's a big old banner, and it says Dallas president and governor. I can't read that, and it talks about city and county leaders are meeting, and then it has the Texas flag and the Mexican flag, and they're both cut in half diagonally. And what is going on there? We don't know what that's about exactly. His answer was a non-answer when I called. So there's a lot of ways to feel about this, right? We have let a problem go on our border unwillingly. The American people didn't mean to do that. Our media was blacked out. We weren't told what was going on. We had no idea that half of the Mexican military left to join the drug cartels and took the military equipment with them. That happened over 2 years ago. And now, after blowing themselves up and blowing up movie theaters and destroying good parts of Mexico, the people are scared to death. And they're running up here looking for a peaceful life. Along with them are a bunch of murderers and gangsters and people we obviously don't want here. We can't, it's not sustainable to have any of these people here. We need to take care of ourselves first. So that's one side. And didn't get a lot of questions. I see how many people are viewing. Thank you guys. I appreciate you watching. That's it. I wanna thank everybody for listening, being part of Unite Ohio, Columbus Freedom Rally, 3% Patriots, for God and Country. It's okay for all of us to come together. We've been taught separation theology our entire lives. We know how to divide in this country. We know how to separate in this country. We've been taught it our entire lives. It's time for us to discern for ourselves how it is we come together. This is how Central Ohio, Southern Ohio, and Northern Ohio have chosen to come together, is through the means of Unite Ohio. We've also been helping organize people on the border and talking to some of the patriots down there. I hope that this gets out, people give feedback, let us know what they think. Thanks again, everybody.